Hey guys, and welcome to Terraria Talk. Now I want to give you more options with this video and what you want to watch, so I've included buttons that will allow you to switch to different sections of the videos. The sections go like this. Firstly, I'm going to be covering news, which in the future will cover both console and PC news for Terraria. Secondly, me and Waffles are going to be discussing new item ideas for the next update. And then lastly, a new feature where I spotlight a really good Terraria video of this week. Now I'm still ill, so forgive me for the croaky voice. Let's begin. Now for Terraria news, I don't really have a lot to say. Not much has happened this week, however I'm going to be talking about a new confirmed Spriter for Terraria, Mr. Jim Tommy. Now according to his bio on DeviantArt, Jim is currently studying 3D graphics in Oslo, lives in Norway and was born in 1990, which makes him about 22, 23, who knows. My favourite artwork of his has to be this HD Mario, which I had to steal from his DeviantArt, so I'm sorry Jim. Now there is one more Spriter, Mr. Aaron C, but unfortunately I don't really know much about him, so it'd be hard to talk about him. Okay, so now on to our next bit of news. Demilogic has been giving hints about waterfalls. I'm unsure how they will be implemented with the current water physics of the game, or if they would simply be part of the background. Either way, it sounds like a good concept. Now, as you remember from last week, I included a personal tweet from Demilogic, last week being his fondness to play PlayStation, but this week Demilogic says he prefers to watch Futurama and South Park, which leads me to endless reference ideas. Maybe a Bender extendable arm as a weapon, or a Captain Crunch mask for the Vanity slot. Either way, I can relate as they are two of my favourite shows. Of course, I love House quite a lot. Now on to our next Now on to our next section, where me and Waffles discuss item ideas from Terraria Online. And now on to our next section. So, Waffles, it's good to have you back on the show. Pretending like this is a real TV show. Yeah. Anyway, if you remember from last week, what we did was discuss ideas and actually draw them at the same time. So terrible. Our first idea comes from ZAQEN, and he says a shield that can be held that would work with a short sword. So what do you think about this, Waffles?
Oh man, a shield that could be held. Now, would that give the player more defense? Like, would that actually allow them to get more of a bulk behind them, or would that like prevent knockback like the Cobalt shield?
Ooh, that's actually quite a good question. I think when he decided to set it up, I think he was going for maybe like to stop projectiles, maybe like to block projectiles, and maybe it weakens hits. Like instead of doing 5 hearts of damage, maybe it does 2 or something like that.
Well, if it did stop projectiles, I think that could be really useful against armored skeletons once you get to hard mode. Because
yeah, that would be good.
Those were a pain.
They still are a pain.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've drawn a little bit of a stickman, like kind of really weirdly holding a shield from the top.
I've kind of drawn the shield from Legend of Zelda, like a mock one. It looks like the Cobalt shield actually. So.
Huh. Yeah. Quite interesting. Okay, so on to our next idea, on to our next drawing as well.
Alright.
This comes from Loki, the moderator on Terraria Online, and he says smarter combat that focuses more on enemy weak spots than numbers. So I'm guessing this would mean maybe like different hitboxes rather than, a horde of zombies. What do you think about this?
Now, having different hitboxes would be really hard to program, coming from the programmer's perspective, and I think it's a really cool idea. I mean, being able to actually shoot an arrow at an enemy's head and it does like the amount of damage you think it would produce, because it's a headshot rather than just you hit him in the arm. I think that would make combat a lot more interesting and a lot more challenging. But all in all, I'm not sure how well it could be done.
Yeah, I mean, like, these sprites are actually quite small, so it might be hard to hit, especially if you're using a sword. I mean, most of the game's swords are actually bigger than the character that you're hitting, like, for example, the Breaker Blade or the Excalibur. So that would be quite hard, because the hitbox is the whole thing, so. Headshots, definitely. I think they should definitely implement some kind of headshot bonus or something.
Yeah, I think headshots alone could be cool and maybe not as challenging, but to have everything be a unique hitbox would be far more challenging.
Wait a minute. Where would the hitbox be on the Eye of Cthulhu?
Right in the pupil, I think, would be the best place.
Yeah, I think that would be quite cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's enough of that idea. On to our next drawing. And the next idea comes from Elliot J, and he or she recommends teleporters.
Ooh, a teleporter. Now, I think that if you somehow incorporated like a magic mirror, because I think in every world you find a couple of magic mirrors, that's just a given. But
Yeah.
if you were able to incorporate the magic mirror and like combine it with some other materials, I think it could be really cool and useful. Because you'd be capable of making a machine that could bring you somewhere with fast travel. And the Terraria world, if you create like a large one, can be very vast and very hard to traverse. So I think that would be really cool.
I think they would need to set up like maybe different, I don't know, rules for these teleporters, because I mean, if you would have one on the overworld and then have one on the underworld, it takes away a little bit of the game's, like, I don't know, pizzazz or, you know, feel, because you're not travelling the underworld as much anymore. It's kind of like, and you would be able to create these from a low level, because I mean, it's quite easy to get a magic mirror, let's be honest.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I guess it would create some exploits in the fact that, you know, some of these harder locations that, you know, maybe like a noob couldn't get to as easy, he would be able to teleport there and just skip out all the drama before that, maybe like the top of the jungle or the desert. So I think that it would have to be something for late game, definitely.
Yeah,
like,
maybe it could require like souls of light or something, some kind of soul or some kind of drop that would be used in like later end game almost.
maybe like Souls of Time.
Oh, souls of time. How would you get those? You would need to have like George Washington and other famous presidents just come out of coffins in the ground and then eat you alive. I'm not drawing that, but that would be my idea.
I tried.
See, even we come up with ideas here on these discussions. We're just that amazing.
Okay, so on to our final idea. Not our final idea, actually. We've got two more.
Oh,
Look
you're a
at
filthy liar.
This idea comes from I'm Mike, and he says being able to invite friends through Steam and having a system that would automatically download required plugins for a server, similar to how TF2 downloads maps for people. This idea actually is quite good, and I think it would really help out a lot of the drama that comes with making servers, and a lot of these, you know, Terraria servers aren't really that great just because the plugin system is, you know, you have to really communicate before people are even in the game to get these plugins. What do you think, Waffles?
I think it's a lot easier because I remember a couple days back we were trying to set up tconfig and we were gonna try and join your server, but we couldn't because of several technical difficulties. But being able to just straight up download someone else's client and kind of incorporate it into your own would be very useful, especially for modding communities.
Yeah, I think that would be quite good. I mean, more modding support is really what we need. And the reason why I don't bring that idea onto the show is because so many people have written it by now, and so many people agree that it would just be kind of, you know, be pointless to really talk about. But some of these, like, smaller ideas that would just be really beneficial to the game, I like to talk about these, you know.
Yeah.
In the future, we'll probably talk about some ones that aren't that great. But, okay, so I'm done for that one, drawing-wise.
Yeah, I'd say I'm done as well.
Okay, so now our last idea comes from Nick X2, and he says ultra rare vanity items. What do you think?
Ultra rare. Now, what I think of that, I think it could have some kind of like unique way of like obtaining it, and I think that could be a whole different challenge, a whole different variety to the game. And I think that's really important for keeping a game alive, being able to create new challenges for a player.
Yeah, so maybe some like special edition hats and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot like TF2. Okay, so that wraps it up for this section. Make sure to leave your suggestions for next week's section. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to end the video on a Terraria video spotlight. Would you like to sign off, Waffles?
I could if you want me to.
I'd love it.
I've never done this before. Oh, peace? Do we say peace? Is that what we say? I forgot.
Peace. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Peace.
Peace.
Okay, so this featured video comes from Lord Savine and Verbal Processing. Now, I had to... Processing? God, that's my accent kicking in. Anyway, now, I found this video, and I just thought it's a really good video. Like, I mean, it's funny from the start. I mean, both of the commentators in it are absolutely awesome. I mean, Verbal Processing, whatever. Great voice, absolutely hilarious, and obviously Lord Savine. with his wonderful editing at the start. So it's a lovely video, and here is a link to it. And if you want to submit your own video for next week, just leave a comment below. You know, tell me where I can find this video, and maybe if it was created in the last 7 days, it could be in next week's Terraria Talk. Thanks for watching the episode, guys, if you stuck it out this long. And remember that you can come and check out our Steam group. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching, guys.